Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Basics of Life. My name is Ken Burkey and Ginger Jacob is here, ready to teach us.
I don't know about that.
Make us feel guilty her topic is already just making me feel so, no, actually this is a great topic that we can all learn from because I violate this topic. We all do as Americans.
We all do.
So hang in here because this is really good stuff. Talking about simplifying our lives.
Right, which I think Americans do a very bad job at, because I think we are constantly looking for ways to fill our calendars more and do more things, and all the technology that we have makes it so much easier for us to get overcommitted, and then you end up exhausted and out of control. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're so connected, and then we feel guilty, if we don't respond right away to every text, to every email, to everything, 10 o'clock at night, all those things. And we live in a very, very busy culture, busier than probably we were created for. Right,
I would agree with that. And I also think that when we become busy, we kind of equate that with success sometimes. I'm busy, which means I am successful because I'm constantly doing something, when actually, when we find ourselves in the really busy seasons of life, usually the things that matter to us the most are the ones that sacrifice. We're not busy doing the things that are really, if we really were to ask ourselves what our priorities are, oftentimes they are not the ones we are filling our calendars with.
It's interesting. You do this for a while, because I have been doing this lately, as far as when you ask somebody how they're doing, usually I'm doing good, but I am busy, very busy will fly in there.
Right.
It's very rarely where, because it's almost a status thing.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm busy.
And I have people, and I have to catch myself, because I have a lot of people say to me that see the kind of responsibility, or they have in their mind what I'm doing. They say, I know you're really busy. You probably don't have time. And I'm like, I don't want people to see me that way.
Right.
And that's a danger. So I fight it. So don't say that I'm going to have it all figured out, but I don't. But I'm trying. I'm really trying. This book has challenged me.
There's a tool, a great book called Simplify by Bill Hybels, Pastor Bill Hybels. Just talk about that and how that's impacting your life. And while you do, I got to go check some emails.
Yeah, exactly. My phone's down here. It's going to go off in a minute. No, it really had me look at what's important. And I think the first thing that I recognized when I started reading this book is that I am in control. And he tells you that you are in control of your life, of your calendar. No one else is in control of that. And so that's freeing, but it's also very challenging, because that means I need to be the one that changes that too busy status that I have.
Why do we think we're not in control? Is it we're the victim? We really don't take ownership on this, I guess.
No, I don't know what the answer is to that, other than I think with all the technology, we feel like we can do more. I can work from home that I never used to be able to. I can work in my car. If I'm pulled over, I can send an email. We all know we can text, email. So
guilt comes into this.
Right. So you feel like you need to be, I better respond to that. I'm laying on the couch at night watching a TV show with my husband, and I've got my phone right there. Are you kidding me?
Right.
But
so
we're
you still
plugged in
don't
all the
answer it when I call.
No, I don't.
Well, no, you feel guilty, or maybe even you can judge yourself less than. I was on a plane a while ago, and this guy, I mean, seriously, he had his iPhone, his iPod, his iPad, his everything. I mean, he had like 4 computers all set. I mean, this guy's just like and maybe that was the right time for him to do that. Hopefully, he doesn't do that all the time. But you start going, wow, I got to keep up with the Joneses with even our schedules.
Absolutely, but then
it's a status symbol.
It is status. But I think we need to take a look at that. And I think what I love about this book is it says, you start with your calendar. You are in control of your calendar, whether you use a paper calendar, a phone, your iPad, or whatever you use. Look at your calendar and block off the things that are the most important to you. And he gives you some guidance on what those things, those top 5 things in your life that you should make time for.
Well, and before we get into that, Bill Hybels, really a great guy, great leader, and there's a lot of credibility to this book, Simplify, because he is not a laid-back kind of dude.
Not. He's struggled with every single aspect of this.
So there's some real credibility here with Bill being vulnerable of, hey, listen, I'm a type A personality, but here's what he's learned in the journey of life. So,
and that's why I think this book speaks to me, is because he's very real about, I have not done this right. I have struggled. I have had my little girl saying, when are you coming home, Daddy? So because you're working all the time. So there's, he's very, very open about his struggle with this. So we all struggle.
Sure.
I think everyone needs to know that we all struggle and no one has the answer, but there's some really practical tools.
So what are the practical tools that he kind of gives?
Well, first of all, like I said, you own your calendar, so you need to block out the times for the things that are the most important, and write them down on there every day at whatever time you feel like you need to do that, or how many times a week. And number one for me is to start my every day with spending some time with God, and that's really what he challenges us to do. And whether you're a Christ follower or not, whatever that looks like to you, you need to set aside some time to be present, be spiritually aware of your Creator, and just be still. And for people that fill their calendars full, that's a very hard one. Because that means, and I totally struggle with this. So but every morning on my calendar, the first thing at 6 a.m. because I get up early, it says prayer time, and that's when I sit and still myself and.
Well, for those of us that are followers of Jesus, I mean, he said it every day. I mean, it's give me today my daily bread.
Right.
It's the smartest way to wake up and start the day is to recalibrate with God's wisdom, and to prioritize what's going to really be important today. I may have some tough meetings. I have, to pray, to prepare for the day. What a gift that the Scriptures kind of guide us to this, but we violate it.
We do.
We get up and we go.
We go, and I find my day goes so much worse when I don't do this. So I'm really, really trying to prioritize that, and for me, because I am such a Type A person, and I feel like I can do it on my own so much, is that I hope this will help some people, is that I have 3 scriptures that I read every day. The first one is Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God, so that I can still myself, because if you don't still yourself, you can't listen to what God says, and then I also I recite the first few verses of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I have everything I need. He leads me by green meadows, he takes me by still waters, he renews my strength or restores my soul. And so that helps me to just know he's in control, he cares for me, and then another one I love is where he says, show me the right road where I should walk on, point out the right path for me to follow, lead me in your truths and teach me. You are the God who saves me all day long. I put my hope in you. So that I have these 3 things I do religiously every morning that help me to be still, to know he loves me, and then to direct me. And that it just seems to help me.
That's really powerful. And it's doable. It's
doable. It's just that time you have to set aside.
Right. So after that, what's the next?
Well, the other thing one of the other things I think is important to put on your calendar is your family. You have, and it sounds silly, because we feel like, well, that's an obvious one. But when you fill up your calendar with other things, work and family seems to be the one that sacrifices, and it depends really in the stage you're in, because I recognize if you're going to soccer games at night and practices and you're playing that that time in your life when your kids are so busy, it looks different than it does right now for Ron and I, but for us, we have to actually have a date night on our calendar, which sounds so silly after 28 years of marriage, but we literally have to put it on there, or else the week goes by and we go, okay, what happened there? We didn't spend any time together.
So. Boy, things squeeze into your calendar and all of a sudden it's been weeks and months, and that's important.
And same with kids who are living away from home. I have to put on my calendar to call my, and it doesn't mean I don't love him very much, but to call my son who lives in Boston, or my daughter, FaceTime with her out of the country, or even call my son who lives close by. So family is, I think, something we really need to prioritize.
Yeah, my wife and I, because our son just he moved to New York with his wife, and so now we have it's a weekly Skype call, or FaceTime. And it's important to do that because not like you said, we love them, but all of a sudden you go, whoa, where'd the week go?
Yeah, or it's 2 weeks and we haven't really had a face-to-face, So, and when your kids are younger, maybe it's that family dinner that you need, because when you are going to all those games and back to school and all the things that are going on when you're raising your families. I don't know if you remember, we were like eating in the car, on the counter, at different shifts. So maybe you need to.
That's not really quality family time anyway.
No.
When I was yelling at the refs when my son was playing ball,
that's not family time.
But I was supporting him, but it wasn't.
But I guarantee there's one night a week that you could figure, or a breakfast on a Saturday, or something. I mean, there's some way you can figure that out.
We have a mutual friend. He and his family and surrounding family every Saturday morning do breakfast.
And they do that and people, they come from all over.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's very cool. So I think family is very important.
Now, see, our culture gives us kudos for having our calendar filled up with business and career stuff. But you're not going to get any kudos for filling your schedule up with family time, but it's such a God thing.
It really
is. So important, and life goes fast.
It really does.
So you got to do this.
And both of us know this, how fast our kids have grown up, and you know, you look back at pictures and you just, oh my goodness, you just can't believe where the time has gone. So it is important to fill that time up with family.
So what else on this?
Another one that is really important is your health, which is exercise, and that's I think the one of all the things that I look at. That's the one it's taken me this many years in my life. I'm not going to say how old I am, but it's taken me a long time to prioritize that. Part of that is it was never modeled for me. My parents never exercised. They worked all the time, but they never exercised. So I got a great work ethic, but didn't get the let's stay in shape taught to me. So I have to put that on my calendar as part of my morning, and so it's my time with God, and then I exercise before I go to work because and again, that looks different for everyone, but it's so important.
It is. Well, I'll say this is kind of a legacy thing too, because it's interesting what you just said, that what our habits become with simplifying our lives and calendars, our kids will take cues from.
Absolutely.
Because I have plenty of problems and issues, and Ginger knows.
I won't share them
one of
here.
them has never been exercised because my dad exercised.
See?
And it just hit me. He would come home from work, rocket engineer, every day and run. Now that was back with the short shorts.
Oh my goodness! So
we don't want to see pictures. No, but he would just to decompress.
Right.
He would go, and so there was this, and so I, as a kid, I'd try to run with him and keep. But it created.
And your brother runs too, so that is something that.
Yeah, my brother runs a 14-minute mile, but he runs.
It's okay. Sometimes I do that too.
Yeah. So. This is a cool thing that it's good for us, but it's also good for our kids.
Right, it's very good for all of us. And for me, it helps me mentally.
Yeah.
It's not just what you're doing. Exercise doesn't just help you physically. It puts you in a better place. You feel better about yourself.
Right.
It totally changes the way you look at things, I think, when you're feeling.
Think you become more creative when you're exercising. I come up, my 2 or 3 good ideas for the year usually come up
when you're exercising.
When I'm exercising, and I actually have learned when I'm exercising. If I'm at home exercising, I write it down right then, so you get these thoughts. So it's very, very healthy, and it's very biblical.
It is.
Take care of ourselves.
We're supposed to. Our body is a temple. We're supposed to take care of it, and it's so. What makes it difficult too? It's the busyness, and also the kind of food that's out there for us that's quick, which isn't good for us. So that helps us or hinders us from staying in a good weight. So exercise is really important right now. So.
Let me just stay here, and you said food. I really think with the movement of gardens and home gardens, we need to slow down the eating process, especially dinner. I mean, that's the one area that's become kind of sacred for my wife and I is cooking. Cooking, because that slows down, and you and Ron are really good at that too. And so that's when you have conversations, and you tend to eat healthier when you do your own cooking, and it's not fast food. And so that's a huge thing. And
the movement is coming, or it is here, and it seems to be gaining popularity, which is great. But it's so easy to go grab something to eat, and not always expensively, but when you are in the kitchen cooking together, and then you sit and eat together, or share a meal with friends, and it really is, it's healthy, and it's great time. It's a replenishing time, because that's what he talks about here. Is all these things replenish you when you're handling or managing your calendar and managing your life. You're replenishing yourself by allowing yourself to do those things that are good for you.
Which is a very spiritual thing.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah. So anything else?
Also, it's important to have fun, to have recreation, and I mean, it really is. We talk about all these disciplined things. Let's make sure we do all these things. Let's pray and let's exercise. But also, we need to have fun, and that looks different for everyone. But that's another one. You have to put it on your calendar. Because it can easily be the one you say, oh, I don't really have time for that.
Right. Or now you're making me feel guilty.
But you can calendar it out too. You can say, let's sit down. What Ron and I try and do is when we come home from a vacation, we look at what do we want to do again? When's the next one? Is it 6 months? Is it a year from now? But we put it on the calendar.
Right.
Bill talks in here about how they as a family sit down and say, because they're all busy, his kids are grown and they're very busy, let's all block out 1 week and go to Michigan or wherever they go. I don't know, out to a lake where they go, their house, and they pull all their calendars together and they put it on there. And then he says it's non-negotiable. Nobody can take a meeting then or say they have to travel, but it might be out 6, 8, 9 months.
Right.
But at least it's something that you're protected by, which is I'm challenged in that part with the kids.
I know, it is. And recreation, it looks different at different seasons. I mean, for my wife and I, our recreation is to go to see our kids or to go to New York and hang there and to, walk and laugh and go to shows, whatever it is. For some it's camping. It's different. You have to identify what that is, but then you got to do it. You're right. I
talked to someone this week and she works really hard and has for a very long time. She's been in her career for 25 years, and her husband's the same. Their kids are grown and gone. And they work, and then they work at their property on the weekends, and they never go anywhere. The only time they go is they go back home to where she's from, the state they're from, and see their family. They haven't been on a vacation in literally 25 years where they actually went somewhere.
Wow.
And it's not a financial thing. It's that busyness. It's that we just never really prioritized it. And all of a sudden we went, wow, when we went to Hawaii 30 years ago.
Wow.
So they're looking and saying, you know what, it's time we need to start doing this. So recreation's important.
It is. Not to stay on this much longer, but everybody has their own love language when it comes to vacations. You got to protect that, because you'll have people try to make you feel guilty for not going on what they consider a big trip. So I have great friends. I have great friends who love to camp. Camping drains me. There is nothing.
Too much work.
I don't want. I want to go to the city. I want to go to the shows. I want to walk. I want to eat. On vacation, that's where it's fun to go out to dinner and to experience. That energizes me. The city, and I don't mind hiking and all that, but I don't want to sleep in a tent. But other people, that fires them up. By the end of that week, they don't want to go home. They're like, man,
they love
nature.
it.
But you got to find out what it is, and then break the news to your friends that you love them.
But you're not going camping with them?
Camping with them.
But the other thing we're talking about the big things, but there's also recreation is you and your wife and Ron and I getting together for dinner. That's recreation too. It's those
the smaller
times are equally as important, because that fills you up, or whatever that is. Going for a walk,
for a walk is
whatever those things. Going to the movies. You just have to make time to do the things that are fun, because that fills you up.
Yeah.
You can't just work and eat and sleep all the time.
No.
Yeah.
No. So last one, because we're almost done here.
Oh my goodness! Really?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Go fast.
Well, no. I think
go fast. We're talking about
slowing down. It's really important to try and have satisfying work if you can. I know not everyone. It's not possible for everyone, but don't close yourself off to the possibility of figuring out something you really can do, which is the biggest part of your day. Is your work that you really like. So if it means you take a night class so that you can learn something that you're really passionate about, that you could possibly change careers, take a risk, look into some other areas, because work is work, and it consumes a lot of our time. So I know from having a job I absolutely hated for the first part of my life to now the one I absolutely love, it's completely different. So it's.
And you were mentioning too, sometimes you're in a season where you can't. You don't have that job that you love, but that's where volunteerism and serving. We have people at the church that serve in a lot of different arenas that say this is the highlight of my week, and that's important too. Absolutely.
I have so many people that volunteer for me that are this is what they love to do. So their job is their job, and it pays their bills, and they're okay with that, because their passion, they're able to pursue and live their passion through their volunteering, which is great.
That's good. So how do you want to wrap this up?
Just challenge people that what do you want to do with this next season in your life? What is important to you? Put a word on the calendar that will allow you to make some changes. Don't be afraid to do that. Block off some time for one of these things that speaks to you.
Exercise, family, recreation. Starting every morning with God makes just a huge difference.
And this is a great book. I would totally recommend this book.
It's called Simplify by Bill Hybels, and couldn't recommend it more, actually.
Absolutely. Easy read, great, very practical, applies to everyone. So.
All right. Well, let's hold each other accountable on this.
I will.
Let's continue.
I'm going to go look at your calendar when I get back to work.
Great. Let's maybe talk about this again.
Okay. Great.
Because I think you got to keep revisiting this, and so.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks for being with us here on The Basics of Life. We'll see you next time.
What if you believe